Everyone feared the giant alien Empress, until the janitor sat beside her. Nobody ever tells you space smells like burnt popcorn and wet metal until you've been mopping deck floors at 0300 hours. Come on, man. Who keeps spilling nutrient soup in the gravity vents? I muttered, dragging my mop like it owed me money. I'm just Joe, janitor, level 3 maintenance crew, USS Resolute. The only guy dumb enough to volunteer for night shifts during warp transit. It was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet where you start talking to the floor just to hear a voice. "Hey, Deck 7, how you holding up, buddy?" I said to the tiles. They didn't answer, which was fair. Floors rarely do. Then the lights flickered, and that eerie low hum started up again. The one that meant something big was messing with the ship's systems. "Oh, hell no," I groaned. "Not again." Last time it was a space leech the size of a Buick. I grabbed my mop like it was a rifle and marched toward the sound, mumbling under my breath. I swear they don't pay me enough for alien pest control. The air shimmered near the bulkhead door. And bam! Out of nowhere a figure appeared, floating, glowing, straight-up regal. She looked like she'd stepped out of some intergalactic fantasy painting. Long silver hair, eyes like molten gold, wrapped in this flowy cosmic gown that defied gravity. I blinked. Hey, you lost lady?" Her voice echoed, melodic but cold. "I am Empress of Aurion of the Azure Conclave. Your species trespasses upon my dominion." I stared, mop still dripping. "Ma'am, I just cleaned the floors. If this is about the trash chute again, that's Deck 5's problem." Her brow furrowed. "You dare address me so casually?" "Look," I said, wiping my hands on my jumpsuit. "It's been a long shift. I've had 3 coffee packs and 0 breaks. You can vaporize me after I finish cleaning this slime." She blinked, totally thrown off her imperial script. Then, "I kid you not," she snorted. Like a little laugh escaped before she caught herself. "Human," she said slowly, "your insolence is perplexing." "Ha ha ha ha, yeah, that's what my supervisor says too." The ship shook suddenly, alarms blaring red. Virelia's gaze snapped toward the ceiling. "An energy surge. They followed me." "Who's they?" I asked, but she was already floating toward the main corridor. Instinct kicked in. I tossed the mop aside, grabbed the nearest wrench and ran after her. "Lady, you can't just go running through restricted sectors. OSHA would kill me." She turned, glowing brighter. "Why do you follow me, janitor?" I grinned, heart pounding. "Because, I guess someone's got to keep the floors clean after you blow up the ship." She actually smiled. For a second, just a second, the galaxy's most powerful being looked amused. And that, my friends, is how I accidentally became the janitor who saved an empress. You ever have one of those nights where you think, "Hey, I'll just clean the vents, maybe listen to a podcast," and then boom, you're sprinting down a corridor with an alien empress who glows like a damn chandelier? Yeah, that was my night. The deck lights flickered red. Sirens blared. The whole ship rumbled like a washing machine full of bowling balls. I was running beside this floating goddess, clutching a wrench I stole from the repair bay. Because clearly that's how you deal with interdimensional warlords, with a wrench. "Yo, Virelia," I shouted over the noise. "Who exactly is following you?" "The Keth," she said, voice sharp. "They are hunters. They seek my crown and my life." "Cool, cool, love that for you," I said, panting. "And they're what?" "Angry space bugs? Laser sharks? Give me a visual here. Predators beyond your comprehension. Lady, I mop slime for a living. My comprehension bar is already low." She gave me that look. Half annoyed, half is this human serious? But then the ceiling exploded. A massive creature dropped through the breach, all claws, armor, and bad breath. Looked like someone crossbred a scorpion with a tank. I froze for half a second. Then instinct took over. "Nope!" I yelled, diving behind a console. "That's above my pay grade." Virelia raised her hand, energy crackling like lightning. She blasted the thing, knocking it back, but it wasn't dead. The monster screeched, lunging again. I looked at the wrench in my hand. Yeah, okay, Joe, what's a wrench gonna do against that? But then I saw the fuel valve panel, hanging open, leaking plasma vapor. An idea hit me like caffeine on an empty stomach. I jumped out, slammed the valve with the wrench and shouted, "Hey, ugly, catch this!" The creature turned, and right as the vapor ignited, boom. The explosion knocked us both to the floor. My ears rang, my heart raced, and smoke filled the corridor. When it cleared, the monster was a sizzling heap of regret. I coughed, waving my hand. Haha, oh man, OSHA's gonna love this report. Virelia stared at me, eyes wide. You attacked it with fuel vapor. I grinned, sitting up. Improvised problem solving, baby. Humans do it best. For a second, she didn't say anything. Then she smiled, really smiled. There is madness in you, she said softly. But also brilliance. Oh, thanks. Most people just call it bad impulse control. She helped me up with this weird glowing aura. Warm like a hug and a sunburn had a baby. We must leave, she said. More will come. Great, I sighed, grabbing my singed mop. Let's go piss off more aliens. As we ran toward the engine bay, I swear I saw her glance at me with something almost admiration. Maybe humans were weird. But in that moment, weird was winning. We tore through the engine bay doors like two people who definitely didn't have clearance to be there. Sirens still screaming, metal groaning, sparks raining down. Looked like the 4th of July decided to move in early. I slammed the control panel, sealing the bulkhead behind us. Okay, we're safe. Probably, maybe. Virelia hovered near the warp core, her glow dimming. She looked tired. I didn't know aliens could look tired, but she had that same vibe my mum used to get after working double shifts. That, I've carried the universe on my back and still gotta make dinner energy. You good? I asked, leaning on my wrench. I have exhausted my reserves, she said, voice softer now. The Keth will breach the barriers soon. Great, I muttered. Just what I needed over time. She gave this tiny laugh, like barely there but real. Then her gaze dropped to the warp core. This device! It channels unimaginable power. Yeah, she's my girl, I said, patting the console. Named her Bertha. Don't touch her when she's moody. Virelia raised an eyebrow. You name your machines? Ha ha ha, yeah. Helps them behave. Don't judge, it's a human thing. She tilted her head. Humans assign affection, even to metal. Hey, we get lonely out here, I shrugged. Sometimes the mop's the best listener I got. She just stared at me for a second, like she couldn't decide whether to laugh or cry. Your kind is strange. Yep, I said proudly. We're the galaxy's weird little gremlins. Before she could reply, the hull shook. The Keth had found us. The door began melting from the outside, claws punching through like molten knives. Ah, crap, I said, grabbing my wrench again. All right, plan B, panic and hit stuff until it works. But Virelia shook her head. If they seize the core, your vessel will perish. I must activate a jump. Cool, do that. I cannot, she said, eyes dimming further. Not without an anchor to stabilize the fold. My stomach dropped. I knew that tone. That I'm gonna sacrifice myself tone. Whoa, no heroic nonsense, I said. You're not dying on my shift, lady. It is the only way, she whispered. One of us must remain behind. I looked at her, this glowing, broken, beautiful being who could have wiped me out in a heartbeat. And I just laughed. Ha 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 ha! No! Not today. Joe, listen, I said, stepping closer. Humans don't quit. We duct tape, we patch, we improvise. You just need juice, right? She blinked. Correct. Then plug into Bertha. I slammed the emergency conduit into her wrist. The lights flared, energy surging. Her eyes went wide. Joe, the feedback. I got it. Go save the damn ship. The door burst open, Keith pouring through. I swung my wrench, yelling like a maniac. Oh, yeah. Come get some, you overgrown bug zappers. Then everything went white. Light, heat, static in my bones. That's all I remember at first. Like someone hit the reset button on my soul and forgot to plug me back in. Then beep, beep, beep. I cracked one eye open. Blurry lights. A ceiling that definitely wasn't my ship's. And hovering above me, the Empress, oh hell, I croaked. I'm not dead, am I? 'Cause if this is heaven, somebody cheaped out on the paint job. Her face softened, and damn, I didn't think Cosmic Queens could look relieved. You live? Ha 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 ha, yeah, barely, I said, trying to sit up. Where's Bertha? And the ship? You saved them, she said quietly. Your actions stabilized the core long enough for me to jump us into orbit around my sanctuary world. The Keth are gone, I blinked. Wait, I actually did something, right? Somebody write that down. She smiled, like a real smile this time. Your courage defied logic. Even my guards would not have risked such energy feedback. Yeah, well, I said, scratching the back of my head. Humans have this thing where we do stupid stuff for people we barely know. It's kind of our brand. Virelia studied me with that unreadable golden gaze. And yet you lived. Barely, but Miraculously, I grinned. Guess I'm too stubborn for death. The room was silent for a moment, filled only by the hum of alien machines. Then I noticed something weird. She wasn't glowing like before. Her aura was faint, flickering. "You okay?" I asked. "I transferred much of my energy to sustain your life," she admitted. "It will take time to recover." "Oh, you saved me." I chuckled. "Guess that makes us even." Her lips curved. "An unlikely alliance, Janitor." I pointed a finger. "Hey, I prefer Chief Sanitation Engineer of Destiny." "Ha ha ha ha, as you wish," she said softly. Then a metallic voice interrupted us. One of her guards, tall, armored, voice like a blender full of gravel. "Your Majesty, the Council demands your presence." They question the human. "Oh, great," I muttered. "Alien politics." "My favorite." Virelia stood tall again, her regal air snapping back into place. "They will not harm you," she said firmly. "You are under my protection." "Well, that's good," I said, swinging my legs off the table, "because I really don't want to die twice in one day." She turned to me, eyes softening again. "Rest, Joe of Earth, you have earned it." As she left the room, I couldn't help but grin like an idiot. A human janitor, in an alien palace, guarded by cosmic knights after saving an empress. Ha ha ha. "Man," I whispered to myself, "Mom's never going to believe this one." Outside the window, I saw her world for the first time. 2 suns, silver oceans, and floating spires reaching the clouds, and somewhere deep down, I knew this wasn't the end. It was just the calm before humanity's next oh hell yeah moment. You ever walk into a room and immediately know everyone in it thinks you don't belong? Yeah, that was me, standing in front of what looked like the alien version of the United Nations, except everyone was 12 feet tall and way too shiny. The Grand Council of the Azure Conclave sat in a perfect circle of floating thrones. Holographic banners rippled behind them, all sparkly and dramatic. And there I was, sweaty, bruised, and still wearing my stained janitor jumpsuit. "State your designation," one of them boomed, voice deep enough to rattle my fillings. Joe?" I said, giving a little wave. "Maintenance guy. I fix toilets and sometimes save empresses on my lunch break." A few gasps. One alien legit choked on his own breath. Another hissed, "This creature is the human you spoke of, Majesty?" "This janitor." Virelia stood beside me, posture regal as ever. "Indeed. This is Joseph of Earth, the one who risked his life to preserve my vessel and our realm." They all started mumbling to each other, like a bunch of PTA moms gossiping about the new kid. One with a crystal crown leaned forward. "A human? That primitive world that still burns fuel to cross its oceans?" I raised a hand. "Hey, we got Wi-Fi now, all right? Baby steps." "Ha ha ha." A snort escaped Virelia before she caught herself. "She actually looked proud?" Another counselor narrowed his eyes. "He is reckless, unrefined. You endanger us by bringing such a being here." "Wow," I said, crossing my arms. "Y'all got hospitality down to a science." They didn't laugh. Shocker, Virelia's tone turned icy. "Without him, none of us would stand here." "Luck," one sneered. "Nothing more." That hit me sideways. I took a step forward. "Luck? Nah, man. That was me, a wrench, and a whole lot of bad decisions that somehow worked out. That's called human creativity." A few eyes widened. I kept going. Maybe adrenaline, maybe stupidity, probably both. "You folks got laser crowns and floating castles, sure, but we've got something you can't program or predict. Heart. You underestimate us because we laugh when things go wrong. We crack jokes while we're bleeding, and we keep swinging when everyone else runs." The room went dead quiet. Even Virelia looked surprised. Then slowly she smiled. The crystal crown guy frowned. "You speak boldly for one so insignificant." "Yeah," I said, smirking. "That's kind of our thing." For a second, no one moved. Then Virelia stepped forward. "The human remains under my protection. His courage is proof enough. The council will respect it." A low murmur rippled through the chamber. No one argued. When we walked out, I exhaled hard. "Whew! I thought they were going to vaporize me for sure." Virelia glanced at me, amused. "You defied the council of my empire." "Ha ha ha ha, yeah," I said, grinning. "Guess I'm just built different." She smiled softly. "Indeed, perhaps all humans are. I was just starting to think things might calm down, me and the Empress surviving intergalactic politics and maybe grabbing a snack. When the palace alarm started howling again. Because of course they did. Virelia, I said, looking around as the walls lit up red. Tell me that's the "it's lunchtime" siren and not the "we're all gonna die" one. Her face went pale, well, as pale as a glowing goddess can look. The Keth. They've tracked us through subspace. Oh, come on, I groaned. Can't we have one peaceful day without space cockroaches showing up uninvited? The whole palace shook like an earthquake. I stumbled, nearly face-planting into a golden pillar. Guards sprinted past, shouting orders in some fancy alien language that sounded like opera mixed with static. Virelia turned to me. You must stay here. It's too dangerous. Ha ha ha, yeah, that's cute, I said, grabbing my wrench again. Not my first bug apocalypse, lady. She frowned. You cannot fight them with a tool. I twirled it like a cowboy. Watch me. Outside, the sky was pure chaos, plasma fire lighting up the twin suns, ships dropping like meteorites. The Keth were everywhere, ugly as ever, clawing through the palace shields. One guard yelled something and tossed me a weird blaster-looking thing. I caught it, upside down, of course. Whoa, okay, I said, fumbling with it. Where's the trigger on this alien Nerf gun? Virelia stepped beside me, hands glowing like twin supernovas. Stay behind me. Poofed, not a chance. And then, boom, the Keith crashed through the grand hall doors. Roaring like engines of death, everything went slow. She unleashed her power, light and fire everywhere, while I ducked behind a column, firing wildly and praying I didn't shoot myself. One of the bugs leapt at me, claws out. Instinct kicked in. I swung my wrench so hard I thought my arm would snap. Clang! The thing went down twitching. Ha ha ha! Eat floor polish, you freak! Virelia looked over mid-battle, eyes wide. You are fearless. No, I shouted back, ducking another blast. Just really bad at running away. The battle raged on. Fire, smoke, screaming metal. The palace began collapsing. Then, through the smoke, the big one appeared. Twice as large as the rest, armored like a tank. Oh, great, I muttered. The boss fight. It roared and charged. Virelia tried to blast it. Nothing. She was drained. I saw her stumble, the glow fading again. Oh, hell no, I said, sprinting toward her. You're not going down on my watch. Without thinking, I grabbed the fallen power core, a pulsing sphere of energy, and jammed it into my wrench. It lit up like a lightning rod. All right. Big guy, I grinned, heart pounding. Let's dance. I ran straight at it. And for a split second, before everything exploded in white light again, I swear I heard Virelia whisper, humans. Truly are insane. When I came to, everything hurt. Like not, oh, I stubbed my toe hurt. More like I got hit by a space truck made of electricity and bad decisions. My eyes cracked open to smoke, broken glass, and silence. The once golden palace was wrecked, walls torn, marble shattered, the air thick with the smell of ozone and victory. I groaned. If anyone asks, I meant to do that. Something moved beside me. Virelia kneeling, her glow faint but alive. She was holding my hand. Joe, she whispered, voice trembling. You're alive! I coughed, managing a crooked grin. Ha ha, what did I miss? Did we win? She laughed. This soft, choked sound that honestly made my chest feel warmer than a sunrise. You destroyed the Keth warlord. The explosion collapsed their portal network. They are gone. Oh, damn, I said, blinking. Guess I really did save the day. Do I get, like, a medal? Or maybe a lifetime supply of alien snacks? She smiled through tears. You ask for much, human. Oh, come on, I said, chuckling weakly. I almost vaporized myself for you. Least you could do is name a hallway after me or something. Her expression softened, that mix of awe and affection that no words can touch. Perhaps more than a hallway. A few guards rushed in, shouting in their melodic language. One stopped, looking at me like I was a miracle wrapped in dirt. This human fought beside you? He asked the Empress. Virelia nodded. He saved us. The guard bowed. To me, I blinked. Foe, buddy, I just unclog drains and occasionally blow up monsters. The guard replied, Then perhaps the drains of the universe owe you thanks. Ha 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 ha. I laughed, then winced. Man, even your compliments sound poetic. As they carried us to the recovery chamber, I looked back at the battlefield, smoke curling toward the sky, light breaking through the ruins. Humans weren't supposed to be here. We were tiny, fragile, the cosmic underdogs. And yet somehow this dumb janitor from Earth had just changed the fate of an empire. Later, when I was resting in the healing pod, Virelia came to visit. She stood there quietly, hands clasped, studying me like I was the strangest thing in the universe. "Joe of Earth," she said finally. "Your people. Do they all possess this madness?" I grinned, half asleep. "Pretty much. It's called heart. Come standard," she laughed, a real one this time, warm and human. In the weeks that followed, stories spread across the stars, of a human who fought with a wrench and a smile, who faced death laughing, who made an empress laugh too. They called me the Janitor of Light, and somewhere out there on a little blue planet, another janitor probably clocked in for his night shift, totally unaware that the galaxy now told bedtime stories about one of their own. "Ha ha ha ha," I murmured before drifting off. "Guess we humans really are built different."